Welcome to another edition of NAIFA New Mexico Weekly Podcast. It is January 14th, 2025. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Finally got our act together.
We finally did. We've been sitting around this table for about an hour trying to make sure that we get this thing started. Finally got started. So,
Well, we got the fight back.
now,
And he has my name up there as Greg Shannon. I can't get that. Don't get
listen, when I think of Santa Claus, it's the entire picture that I think about here.
I do have a red hat. Like that.
There you go. I think we should a little red hat. I mean, we'll be ready for next year. You let it keep growing. Here's what we need to do. We need to get it to just keep coming down. Just keep coming down. Right?
My wife keep trying to do that.
Oh, well, we don't want to call her Miss.
I can get in no trouble on.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Mexico Podcast. This week we have a couple of topics on our plate here to talk about. I'm kind of excited about the first one. Very, very excited about it. So let's just jump into it. First of all, I want to say a shout out to Alec Weber, Mayor of Santa Fe. First city and the school district in the state of New Mexico to create a financial or an educational requirement for financial literacy. This is great.
The Santa Fe City Council passed that up.
That's amazing. So excited.
Mine who's public security politics. I told her that. Alan Weber has done a fantastic job. Well, hopefully, Mr. Weber, if we go up to Santa Fe,
Hey, and we're open invite. Give us a shout out.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that'd be a good idea. Maybe we can council, pass that. Or there and have a process. They have to do it.
And why was it so important that you basically said, hey, if the state's not going to pass it, we're going to do it ourselves? Why was that so important? So if you're on the city council, if you are, Mr. Weber, we'd love to sit down and talk with you. We'll be there on February 25th. So
We'll come up anytime.
yeah, just let us know. We'll make it work for you. So congratulations. Just as it's a great thing. Oh yeah, let me pull it up. Yeah. So if you want to see more information on this, I've got the KOD website pulled up, and we'd love for you to take a look here. Add this to the stage. KOD website. It kind of talks about financial literacy now required in that class for Santa Fe Public Schools. There's a video of the city council there talking about it and putting that to where it's going to be a part of it. That's fantastic.
So here's the question we were talking about. Said some of the pushback we've got are negative graduation, so if you add another requirement here that that doesn't make any sense. I may not be that smart, but so instead of our graduation rate, well, here's how my if you're going to add something that teaches you how to deal with your life, very, very good. Why? What can you do in our society about
Others doing that, right?
and then constantly in debt? But the number one thing they say about relationships that cause them to go finance. Right. If neither one of you know what to do with finances, and you end up with massive amounts of debt. You've heard the war story after how can something that's beneficial to your life affect graduation? Because it's going to teach young people or even older people that we talk about the impact of teach you how to deal with your finances. How is that going to be a detriment to graduation? Perhaps the detriment to graduation is curriculum is something.
Yeah, very well. Look, I know that we have some struggle in the state with graduation rates, and I know that's something that and even the governor at the present time says, hey, we want to make sure that we increase that graduation rate. Here's what I'd say. These financial literacy classes, Santa Fe cannot add another class. Say, hey, now we're going to have one more class. They said basically, hey, this is a math class. We're teaching you personal finance. must replace another map. And, you know, there's some parts of it that when I was going in high school, when I was in school, and I'm not using myself a little bit, you know, back in the day, we'll have those calculators and watches and these kind of things. I remember the teacher would yell at us and say, "Hey, you can't use a calculator. You can't use your watch because you're not going to have one." Right? Lo and behold, you know, supercomputer in your cell phone. Chat GPT, which can copy and paste any question at all in the world and give us an answer. Right?
I had to get up and change the channel by myself.
Wow, I mean, back in the day, remember we had the little boxes? You had to go hit the little button on the boxes. So the point is, I applaud Santa Fe for saying, "Hey, we're not going to add. I'm not going to say you have to have more credits. We're just going to simply replace what is now would be considered an obsolete map. This map that is more relevant to today."
New Mexico, dominated power that we have in New Mexico. Brilliant people. You and I are in the business world. How many people do we know from Roswell, Toro, Brands, you know, little towns that are multi-millionaires that have huge businesses that are very, very successful? You know what I learned from each one of them? They understood that they had to do what they have with great power and what they got off to be successful. New Mexico is full of that, and you have not only just sunshine and great food and some of these other things, but we have more PhDs than any other state because we have the lab. But we way underestimate that. Why don't we, instead of saying before, now we have over $3 billion in the pocket. Why don't we start telling people how brilliant they are and let them rise to the occasion rather than say, "Oh well, we're not going to graduate enough people, so let's not give them anything else to do." No, let's give them a lot more to do. Especially teenagers. We let teenagers get a path with doing nothing. That shouldn't be the way. Historically, throughout history, this is a very, very small slice the last century. So the teenagers weren't already working involved and be a part of society because they had to be, because you had to be born, because your parents couldn't afford to feed you. So I'm not saying we go to that level, but how about give teenagers more responsibility and don't try to like nobody's business because they'll rise from the level and they'll blow you away with the things if we give them higher levels and higher things to look at rather than hold them down way down here and say, "Oh no, don't worry about it." No, do hard things. Life is about doing hard things. The more you fail, the more you learn.
And that's the truth, right? And so I think it teaches us value. I mean, we need to be able to challenge up to date to be able to take on the risk of the, you know? So that's what we are applying for.
Technology is not making your life easier; it's making your life harder.
It's changing the way you have to be alive, right? Yes. It's changing what we have to do each and every day to be successful.
You know what I was told? Friday.
I don't know if I want to go here. What were you told on Friday?
It's about this, what you just said. You and I have had this conversation. You told me that you better get into AI. I was told the same thing Friday at a big seminar with 80 other business people. The guest speaker said, if you're not using AI chat, Gemini, or Copilot, the guy flat out said you're going to get frustrated. You will. I literally said to like this. I don't like it. Well, guess what? Now I'm starting to like it. Yeah. So I got on right there while he was talking and I put some stuff in and got them answers the questions I had. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I like it. So even an old dog can learn new tricks. Why can't the young people? We need people. Our young people are brilliant. Push them. The financial literacy is just one way. I ask you another question, which can be relevant. Is there any, but our politicians, are they afraid when people start to understand the finances? Will they hold them more accountable about how they're spending our money, because you're like, whoa, wait a second, I understand my finances. Why are you spending my money on that stuff instead of something that actually matters? I want that a possibility, or am I just not?
No, there's definitely something. There's definitely something to that. And here's the way I would look at it. I'm going to tell a story real quick, and I know that this is a podcast we have limited amount of time, but I think this story is relevant to what we're talking about here. There was a Oklahoma State Fair about 10, 15 years ago, and they had a big, huge 5-gallon jars full of jelly beans, and they said, "Hey, guess the number of jelly beans in the jar." And so they received, I don't know, some 20 or 30,000 people guessed the number of jelly beans in this jar, right? And you want to know something that's crazy? Crazy. The person that was closest to the number of jelly beans was off by like 5,000 jelly beans. The closest person. But if you took the average of every person that's getting the answer, it would become 1,000. What does that tell you? It tells you that we're smarter. Together.
Whoa.
So think about that. If we teach the financial literacy, we teach the education. All we're doing here is raising up. And that's why we are doing this podcast. We're asking you to come and be a part of it.
That's one of my favorites. Song tag.
And so, as we thank Santa Fe for this, we've invited the mayor and the city council to meet with us.
Applause.
Yeah, come on, applause. Yeah, all done Santa Fe. So, hey, you know what? Let's talk about what we have going on right now. Let's share my screen.
Oh, you mean the legislature?
Legislature. Yeah.
I hear rumor that they're 45 days every year now.
Well, they are trying to do something like that. Actually, we're one of the few states that doesn't have year-round legislature. And I don't know that we year-round legislature, but I can tell you that 30 days is probably way too short.
I mean, so did Rhode Island start paying their legislature? They were the last two, Rhode Island and Mexico. Rhode Island. Very, very good.
Yeah, but they got I mean, 12 people in the entire state. They're all in the legislature. Exactly.
So they paid themselves.
I mean,
you don't need the money.
Yeah. Now, in all sincerity, the 57th legislature is coming up January 7th or 2nd through 17th. Right now, legislation can be pre-filed. And by the way, hundreds of pieces of legislation are pre-filed. I don't know how. If I'm a legislator, I don't know how. I just don't think I could. I just couldn't. I would need staff. And oh, by the way, do they have a lot of staff? Oh, no, they don't. So it falls on a very small group of people to read this. Open day coming up. First, we've got through February 20th. You know what I heard? How that's absolutely. And they should. And they should, because I really think that any help that we can get. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't do this. I've already taken several pieces of legislation, dropped in a chat GPT and said, "Hey, read this, summarize it for me."
So you can do that?
Oh yeah, you can do that. I mean, I got to do it.
I got to get up and running.
As a matter of fact, that's how I found the next piece that we're going to talk about. Yeah, but January 21st, we're going to open. We have all the way till February 20th to file legislation. By the way, over 1,000 pieces of legislation.
This must be a 60-day.
It is, and it's over 1,000 pieces of legislation filed last year in a short. Imagine what's going to be this year. We have this session all the way through March 22nd. We will be there on February 25th and represent NAIFA. We are inviting you to come with this if you'd like to take part. You can take that Mexico.com website. Give us an email and let us know if you'd like to be a part of it. Go to Nathan Mexico, our website, and join out. Part of this.
If you have not been a piece of data, legislator's not that good, but it is quite an experience to be in there, the roundhouse, the art, just watch the process. Very I really I'm showing. Check it out.
It's one of the things that what can I say? That we're going to be there. And one of the things that we're going to be talking about between now and then is Senate Bill. Rick, tell me about Senate Bill 57. Tell me about it and what we got going on.
I wish I would have wrote down the legislation. But to sum it up for us in the insurance industry, especially property casualty, they're proposing that on residential property insurance companies, that the depreciation is no longer going to be allowed on the insurance company. So what does that mean? Well, if you have a 12-year-old roof and it's for $6,000 and it takes $12,000 to replace it, all property and casualty. Remember, we cannot do anything in insurance without getting approval from the department. Sure. So the depreciation is allowed through the Department of Insurance. So your roof is $12,000 to replace your $12,000 in order to do $6,000. We hold back $6,000. Why? What do some people do? What do they get? They all replace their roof?
No, they don't. No, they don't. They really don't.
So guess what happens? All right. An agent, you're an agent. How many people? I won't name any names. They call up and go, how come I'm not getting any money for this claim? I said, well, back in 2012, you got a roof claim. They know that. It's just the way it works. So they're trying to say, well, the roof's worth $12,000, even though it's a 12-year-old roof, and the value of it's only $6,000. Your property home insurance, right? They're trying to force us to give all that $12,000 if you don't replace your roof. Too bad, so sad. So if that happens, what happens to insurance?
Well,
or what happens to that? But that passes. What happens to you and I as a consumer?
Well, I want to talk about one other piece of this, just to put a little bit more clarity around it. Let's just say that your depreciated vehicle comes $6,000. Right? Let's say that we estimated 11,000, 12,000, whatever it was. We estimated 11,000 replacement cost. Well, what happens if you get it replaced for 9,000? What happens if? So right now, we're going to do 6. Get it done for 9. We're going to make both. We'll pay the other 3,000. And the reverse is also true. If we estimate it's going to be 11, and it costs you 13. Well, we'll still give you the extra 2,000 to replace your roof because we're going to make you whole. Now, our estimate's not always right. But here's what I do know: the value of your roof. And here's what happens if we just decide to start moving 11,000. The short-term answer is this: it sounds great on paper. Pat Woods, who introduced this, it sounds great on paper. It really does because, hey, we're going to take care of the nice bit. But here's the situation: we don't require you to replace the roof. We just require that you get a signed contract. Once you get a signed contract, we'll release the rest of the funds, right? But the idea is that we're going to make sure that you actually replace your roof. We're going to make them. Okay? But if we start releasing that, what happens to the rates for all the rest of the Mexicans because you decided not to push it? Exactly. Pun intended. Yeah, it's going to go through that, right? We're going to raise the rates for all the Mexicans unintentionally, right? Because the idea behind this makes sense. It really does. It's the execution.
Well, now basically, in essence, they're trying to have
right, and here's the thing.
I know you're paying your premium, but most people have not paid $11,000 premium.
Granted, I don't want to get into the details of what an insurance carrier is. State Farm is, and there are other insurance carriers that are not. So they're publicly traded on the stock exchange. Mutual basically means we are run by our policy. So all of our decisions must be in the best interest of our policyholders. And so when you think about a mutual company, like just pretend we got a bucket, right? And we take the premium that we receive and put it in the bucket. Out of the bucket, we pay our bills. Right? It allows us to pay fairly and quickly. There's some money in the bucket. When there's not enough money in the bucket, what do we have to do? We have to put more money in the bucket. Right? When there's too much money in the bucket, what do? We give it back. We give it back either in lower rates or, like we did a couple of years ago, we'll give it back in a dividend stream. We'll actually just write you a check. So it can work both ways when you're enough money in the bucket. In the bucket to make sure we can pay our bills.
And one example currently we have already.
Well, I agree. Costliest wildfire experience, maybe actually maybe the most costly wildfire experience. And look what's going on in California right now. It's the most costly wildfire experience.
Two new carriers, Tokyo, they're no longer going to write.
So what happens with that rate? Sure.
Well, guess what?
That's what
Part
happens.
of that is the other results.
So, yes.
And so how does that equate? Well, have a couple of points. They came in, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't the real reason. They handed me last year's homeowner's policy. And this year's homeowner's policy
From the same carrier.
from the same carrier. $8,000 budget. I don't know how the Department of Insurance will pay that. That's $8,000 budget. Give or take.
That's a pretty heavy.
They have over $1 million. Oh, very good. And with the current carrier, well, probably $1 million. Who wants to pay that? $11,000, over $11,000.
Yeah, that's a pretty heavy rate. So what we're trying to get with this story is to explain that insurance is shared responsibility. Although not every company is State Farm, so we're not all. Some of us are actually some they have this work. Companies like State Farm can own. But what it actually means is that this goes through. You can expect costs across all and those increased costs will come back. So let me take a consequence that would sound like a good idea. Give it to the consequence.
But what else will happen? You wrote it out here. What else is going to happen? Both homeowners follow.
Well, very similar to what's happening in the states. We'll name it, but what happens in other states is you may come into underwriting. Right? You may come into eligibility issue where your house may not be eligible any longer, and it was eligible in the past because the insurance carriers have to be able to find a way to mitigate the costs or raise the rates. That's the only two things. The only two
Underwriting
things.
guidelines get so restricted. They're going to put a house over so many years old, qualify, furnace, the plumbing, electrical, the heat there, whatever that is. They're going to find ways to squeeze down. And basically, can't build home.
And
Could be, but you're going to have a much cooler home if you buy a home. It's going to severely not just impact your homeowner's base, it's going to real estate industry, and those industries pump a lot of money into the economy of every community. So the waterfall effect, if they're trying to do something here, and then the negative effect.
yeah, and I think, and we talked about this in the past, it's unintended, right? It's the fact that our politicians, whether they're on the state level, they're at the municipal level, whether they're on the federal level, our politicians, they may be very smart. I don't actually know Pat Woods personally, so might very well be the most intelligent person I've ever had the opportunity to be. But the point is that they don't know all about it. So this is where NAIFA comes in. It's for us to be able to read these things and educate and say, hey, by the way, on paper this sounds good, may not be a good idea. And so again, one of the reasons that we do is to be able to find things like this and be able to impact how that negatively impacts. Even if you're not one of our customers, we want to take care of them. Right? That's the merging between Main Street, which is who we are, and Wall Street, who the we can't write those checks. No, sir. No, sir, we can't. We can't. That's right. But
We can't do that.
we can't. Oh, wait. We're going to sing in. Whoop. Go ahead, sing. But no, you're absolutely right. But that's the reason why we invite you to invite you to be a part, so that we can fight, advocate for things just like this. And this just happens to be the first one going through this. But there are hundreds of pieces
to be able to tell people they talk about like the final chamber, Albuquerque chamber, the buildings they have a lot of people out there that goes up and see if they are familiar with this bill. This doesn't affect all of them.
It affects everything. It affects everything. It affects
How many new homes do we have on the east coast? Well, none of them. It's going to be big services, not be good. Most of them, make sure they're going to have to fight about it.
and because we don't got people, they either have to control the rates, right, or they have to control what they for this really people. So let's not go by the way of some of our other states out there. Won't name them. Let's not go by the way of some of the other states that are out there. Let's continue to do what's right by the majority of the next state, not by the minority of the next state. Make sure we take care of all of our brothers and sisters, and make sure that the state that it is and become even more prosperous in the future. Hey, we've been our time. We thank you for joining us, Nathan New Mexico podcast on January the 14th, 2025. Greg. We look forward to hearing from you. Next question. NAIFA.